Welcome to the San Antonio Rising Stars. I'm Christian Guerra with Toyota of Boerne.
And Josh Seneff with Plant Interscapes. Really excited about our show this afternoon. We are blessed to have Erik Darmstetter. He is with Sales by 5. He's a serial entrepreneur. We're really excited to get into that. The CEO, Chief Energy Officer. Erik, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very glad to be here.
Again, we're really excited to get into who you are and what you've done and how you've got there. But we're going to start off from childhood, set the foundation for who you are as an individual. Where'd you grow up?
Until about 7 years old, Tulsa, Oklahoma. My brothers were 11 and 13 years older than myself, and didn't know it, but we grew up poor. My dad made sure there was plenty of air conditioning, heat, clothing, and food, and that was about it. He took the bus to work, left my mom with a car, so just in case. Don't really remember anything negative regarding that, but a lot of good people around us and good family.
Sure. So did you guys grow up in the middle of the city? Did you grow up out kind of on the edge of town, out on a little bit of land? Paint the picture for us.
I'd say we weren't close to downtown. We were kind of a little bit out, but nowhere in regards to the country.
Okay.
So kind of inner city.
Definitely urban.
Yes. My dad made sure we were in good schools, but I don't know that we were in the best. I don't
Sure.
know all that part of it. But,
what line of work was your dad in?
oil and gas.
Okay.
So he was a landman with Marathon Oil Company for 26 years, and how we got to San Antonio was Tesoro. He was recruited by Tesoro to come to work for them in 1974.
Great. I'm going to ask this, your brothers, having older brothers that are significantly older, what was that like?
Well, my oldest brother played guitar, was on TV a lot, and had a partner, played acoustic guitar, Eagles and stuff like that.
So you must have looked up to him, or at least thought he was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic, and he'd play in the house every night. The middle brother David, he was more of a bodybuilder and throw me around. You know, he was the trampoline, the everything type of guy. But it was fun in the sense that they played with me all the time. I think I was kind of like the fun toy when they'd come home from school. And then when we moved to San Antonio, I didn't realize it till years later, but my dad told me it made a dramatic impact on my life, like being away from them, because I had only see him once or twice a year after that.
Oh, okay.
So that was a big, I didn't realize it until in the last 5 years what an impact psychologically that made. And it actually brought out a huge independent streak in me.
That's it. That's an interesting point. You know, when you don't have someone there kind of guiding you or protecting you or opening the door for you, you know, figuratively speaking, you often have to stand on your own two legs and start gaining your independence. On that note, what were some of the first things that you did, you know, as work? If you're an entrepreneur and you always have these ideas, did that start early, or did you just, you know, kind of stumble on that later in life? I'm just curious.
I feel like one of the big contributors were my parents were very big on me saving money. And then I think the positive praise whenever I'd go to the bank. I just remember my dad taking me to the Broadway bank here, the original one, and I'd walk in there and it was big, and I think I deposited $10 or whatever it was. And it made a big impact, and they would congratulate me, and it wasn't like they took me out to dinner or something, but it was a big deal. And so that, and then I had a thrill. I didn't realize it until I was 18, but at 12 I had a business in my attic.
Tell me about that.
I would have all these kids that were about 2 to 5 years younger than me, and I built a game room in my attic, and it wasn't cool games, by the way. There wasn't like Atari or anything cool. It was an old pinball machine and some other stuff, and they would pay to enter my attic. And I, you know how hot the attic gets here in the summer. They didn't care. And so I had a fan up there and light and music and whatever else, and then that turned into, my dad had an old 1920-something Elgin bike, and all the kids thought it was cool around the neighborhood. I'd give bike rides for money, and then that turned into a business in high school where my partner and I, one of my best friends, Chuck Deason, we did a photography business and took pictures of all the cheerleaders, dance team, drill team, and sold them to the football players, and took pictures of the football players and sold them to all the girls.
You're kind of like the first Facebook. I'm just going to throw that out there.
And that got us, but the cool thing is the perks that come with a big, cool camera.
Right.
You get on the field. So we were on the field. No press passes or any of that stuff. We were on the field. And then also the big camera got us into the Miss Texas pageant that hit San Antonio back in the 80s and a bunch of other stuff. But it was funny because we ended up building a business around the photography, and it was the perks that came with it. It wasn't really, now I look back at it, we weren't making that much money, but it was fun to go to Fox Photo back then and negotiate prices.
I remember that place.
So we had some
your
best
suppliers.
Yeah, we had the best prices in town from anybody. So we would, but we had fun, and I still have all those pictures. I just moved recently and found them.
That's great. In high school, were you a student? Were you a social guy? Were you into sports? What was your MO in high school?
I don't know what other people would say, but for me, I feel like I was a geek until my senior year, probably, or kind of a nerd or whatever else. I didn't. I remember having a girlfriend when I was a junior in high school, and she was at another school and super hot, and she would fix the hair, fix the, you know what I mean, fix me up a little bit.
Right.
And
did a makeover on you.
Did a makeover. By the time I was a senior, I wasn't. I didn't suck as bad.
Less bad.
Yes.
Well, we're going to get back into your life story. We've got to take a short commercial break. You're listening to the life story of Erik Darmstetter, CEO, Chief Energy Officer of Sales by 5. You're listening to San Antonio Rising Stars on KLUP. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the San Antonio Rising Stars Show. You're listening to the life story of Erik Darmstetter, CEO, Chief Energy Officer of Sales by 5. This section is brought to you by Toyota of Boerne. And I've got to tell you, if you are within the sound of my voice and you're out looking for a car right now, it's Toyotathon. It is the best time of the year to get the best deal. If you haven't been out to Toyota of Boerne, it's very easy to find us. You can get on our website, without even having to leave your home, toyotaofboerne.com, or take I-10 West, exit 543, do the short turnaround. We're right next to Mercedes. We have incredible deals. There's never been more money on our cars. If you're looking for a Camry, a Corolla, a Tundra, or even if you're looking for a used car, we've got everything from high-end. We've got Bentleys, Mercedes, BMWs, all the way down to $4,000 and $5,000 cash cars. So the bottom line is we've got a little bit of something for everyone. Toyotathon is going on now through the end of December. It's the end of the year closeout event. Come get a great deal on leftover remaining 2011 inventory. Come see us, toyotaofboerne.com. Give us a call, 210-870-1800, or take the short drive, I-10 West, exit 543.
Now, getting back into the life story of Erik Darmstetter, CEO of Sales by 5, that's Chief Energy Officer. And Sales by 5, that's by 5 p.m., right? Getting sales faster.
That's correct.
Excellent. Well, we'll get into that shortly. We've heard you're a serial entrepreneur. You've started a lot of businesses, even before the time you were 18. I think you had mentioned 2 earlier. But get us back on point about that time. You're in high school, selling photos, the guys to the girls and the girls to the guys. Get us back on point with that.
So where that actually started was I had an idea that Chuck and I would build this business around insurance. So we thought we could go out and take pictures of your belongings in your house and provide them to you so you could provide them to your insurance agent. And that was a complete failure. In other words, not one person took us up on it.
Not one.
Not one insurance agency would recommend us. And it wasn't because of the quality of the pictures, just no one cared.
Right.
So I think that was my first lesson of fail fast, fail cheap. So we failed, and we failed in days, and it cost us nothing except time to fail. And so that's when we started doing there was a demand. No one was shooting pictures of these girls. No one was shooting pictures of these football players. So
you got an investment of a camera.
Investment of several cameras, a lot of other stuff. And we naturally like taking pictures of these beautiful ladies on the football field and stuff like that. So it made sense.
Yeah. So fail fast, fail cheap. As it relates to putting your seed money together, putting up your initial investment, give us more insight into your strategy there for opening up a business. If someone's out there right now thinking about opening up a business, or they have a great idea, Kind of give them some of your insight into that whole process.
So I think one thing that has made me, or has helped me in my life, is not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
So that mentality, fail fast, fail cheap, is something that a lot of people feel like they have to keep trying, keep up, but they're trying to push an idea that's a radio toaster,
Right.
or something foolish, a bad car design.
Right.
I mean, we've seen plenty of those over the years.
Sure.
And they keep trying to market it, and they think maybe we should switch to a different advertising agency to market something stupid better.
Right.
But
Right.
a lot of problems are it's a bad idea in the first place. So
Great point.
I think what I've done is not take those things very seriously. So I'll give you an example. 18 years old, I went to market, Dallas Market, and I bought a bunch of jams. Do you remember those, or what those are?
I'm picturing like jelly in a jar, but you're obviously talking about something else.
Well, those are shorts that had a drawstring.
Okay.
And they had wild patterns and cool stuff. Pat McGee's used to have them, and all these different they're kind of like beachwear.
Sure.
Bought them and brought them back and sold them and made money. I can't remember the markup back then, but it was good money, and I got addicted. And I didn't realize that I was addicted until I went to Midland to see my brother and his wife, and I was sitting around and I couldn't handle it. I didn't want to sit down. I wanted to sell something. And that was the epiphany for me at 18 years old. It's like, I can't just sit around anymore.
Yeah.
I've got to sell something. I've got to market something. I've got to create something. And so I came back to San Antonio after that trip and went back to market, bought a bunch of different things and brought them back and just sold them, random type elements. And very soon after that, went to college, went to Southwest Texas or Texas State, and my fraternity that I got in had the ugliest t-shirts on campus. And when I say ugly, they'd have a maroon sweatshirt in the middle of the summer. I don't get it, but so that spurred a business right there, because first of all, I had to wear something cool.
Right.
And second, there was a huge demand. Most people at that time didn't put more than 1 or 2 colors on a t-shirt. And I did the first 6-color front, 6-color back t-shirt at Southwest Texas, and it was a massive hit, and started selling t-shirts for events to all the sororities, all the fraternities, then came and at the same time did UTSA, Incarnate Word, St. Mary's University, and Trinity in San Antonio, and then broke in a little bit to UT, but that was enough. Those 6 entities were
Imagine that
pretty
kept you busy.
I was able to make enough money in college working a few hours a day, where a lot of my friends would work 20 in the summer, 40 hours or 20 hours and go to school. And my dad retired from Tesoro, and right around that time, and I put myself through college for 4 years on t-shirts and loved it, and came up with ideas like C-Dick drink, C-Dick drive, don't be a dick, stuff like that, which just sold like crazy in stores all over the United States. And then some other shirts that I can't mention on air, and some other stuff that was fun for college, and New Orleans market and Daytona Beach and all that, those kind of spring break type places.
So what is it about selling that you like so much?
I couldn't sell just anything. If I was, I'd have to believe in it.
Okay.
A great example is, I believe in the brand of Toyota. I could sell that because I'd be putting somebody in something that's safe for their children, safe for their, I'm not trying to plug you, but the reality of it is it's got a track record.
Right.
It's got a reason to believe that you're able to deliver an overt benefit.
Sure.
So it's not just some no-name brand or something that's scary or intimidating or a tin can on wheels. It's got believability, it's got benefit. So I can sell something that's got true benefit to people.
Sure.
So the purpose of my life, also the purpose of my business, is to inspire others. So if I'm doing something that actually inspires people and helps them, then it makes sense to sell it.
Sure.
Otherwise, I don't think I could sell insurance or coffins or...
Right. You got to believe in it. And like you said earlier, if it's a bad idea, you're not going to be, bent on pushing it. I mean, if it's not good, doesn't add value, you're going to back up and move on to the next one.
I can't do it.
I'm going to cut you guys off
right.
there while we go to a short commercial break. You're listening to the life story of Erik Darmstetter with Sales by 5. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the San Antonio Rising Stars show. This afternoon we have Erik Darmstetter, CEO of Sales by 5. This section is brought to you by Plant Interscapes. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to get out of your house and visit a downtown area or any other office building or commercial property, but we have been out in force, not only here in San Antonio but in Texas, bringing Christmas to our beautiful city. We've done a lot of installations and really just bringing the Christmas season and Christmas spirit to San Antonio. Hope you guys enjoy it. We today are having what we call a liquidation of this commercial product at our Babcock location. You need to get there quick though. We're going to be wrapping things up here shortly. That's over at 6436 Babcock Road. Just a liquidation of all the commercial properties that have gone out on their leases. We've decided to change the themes or designs as people like to see changes. And we're here to liquidate it. So come quick. That's 6436 Babcock Road. And that's Plant Interscapes. You can give us a call at 888-284-2257. Not too late to buy your poinsettias. You can do that on our website. www.plantinterscapes.com.
And let me give y'all just an example of the quality that these Christmas decorations are. You know, Toyota Bernie signed up with Plant Interscapes on the lease agreement where they come in, they put up all your decorations just after Thanksgiving, right after the turn of the new year, they come pick it back up and store it for you. So the worst part about decorations is putting them up and keeping them stored somewhere. They handle all that for you. Well, you know, we were on like a 2 or 3 year contract, so all of our decorations are in great condition. They're beautiful, but we just decided this year we wanted to change themes.
Right.
So all of the Christmas trees, all of the garland, all of the bows and big trees and small trees and Santa, you know, statues, all that stuff is now being sold at probably 10 cents on the dollar at this sale he's talking about. If you have time and you're wanting to get a deal on some Christmas items, I mean, why not go buy Plant Interscapes on Babcock Road and pick up some good deals?
Absolutely.
There's tons of stuff. I mean, it's a warehouse full of leftover inventory. If you're in the market to save money, go for it.
And if it's good enough for Toyota Bernie, it'll look good in your house.
It's good stuff. I mean, it's good enough for Frost Bank. It's good enough for North Star Mall, and yeah, they're everywhere. Plant Interscapes, you gotta check them out and do business with them.
Babcock Road between Prue and De Zavala. Again, 9 to 3. It's going to be wrapping up here shortly, but if you get in the gates, we'll let you stay. Come by and give us a visit.
Now, getting back into the life story of Erik Darmstetter, CEO of Sales by 5. Erik, we've really enjoyed talking to you so far, kind of painting the background of where you came from and how your thought process works. And I want to pick at a little bit deeper and in more detail, just your overall mentalities of creating opportunities, of seeing something and acting on it. You know, the one question I wanted to ask you earlier when you were talking, about your t-shirts in college, what makes you different than the average man in terms of creating opportunities or seeing opportunities? I mean, just explain to me your thought process, because, you know, maybe people have ideas, but they don't act on them. Maybe that's what separates you, but you know far better than I do how you tick, and I'm just curious to learn from you.
I think the biggest thing is a lot of people come to me and they say that I want to start a business and I wanted to pick your brain on this, that, or the other. And they have an idea they're passionate about, but does it have a benefit to somebody else?
There you go.
So Jim Collins in Good to Great wrote, you know, he mentioned the hedgehog theory. So you have what can you be the best at, what can you be passionate about, and profit per X. Mm-hmm. So you have to make a profit, and you have to have passion, but what can you really be the best at?
Right.
So earlier, Christian was telling me about Toyota Bernie and how they have loaner cars. Even if you have a $20,000 Corolla, you get a loaner car. Well, there's a huge benefit, because normally I'd have to buy a BMW or a Lexus for that. And even then, I had a Porsche for a while, and there was no guarantee I was going to get a loaner car.
Right.
And so I think the benefit, okay, how are you going to stand out? How are you going to be different? And where's that overt benefit for the customer? Then, is there a reason to believe that you're able to deliver that benefit? So having true dramatic difference is a way to stand out today. It's not that hard. Mm-hmm. From what you wear, your attitude, how you carry yourself, all those things matter. But the biggest thing right now that I'm seeing that can help somebody start a business is realize that so much of it today is based on how people feel. So if you can take this concept and say, people will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Right.
So we got so much clutter in our lives. We've got stuff going on. You probably have appointments later today, both of you, and all this stuff's going through your head or whatever else, and then your iPhone's blowing up and email, but how you felt about something, how you felt when you drove that car, how you felt when you saw that Christmas tree and you didn't have to put it up, all those type of elements make the biggest difference today. And so people in the stock market, people in buying a car, having a girlfriend, it's all about how you make them feel. Mm-hmm. I have an 11-year-old daughter, an 8-year-old son, and the way they make me feel is priceless. I mean, they can look at me, they can laugh at something I said. My son and I were playing soccer the other day, and I got hurt like 12 times because we were playing with a ball that's hard, whatever, and he was almost crying laughing because I was getting hurt. But the way he made me feel, it was just a priceless time in my life.
Sure.
So anytime you can bring feeling into something and make somebody feel better about themselves, feel better about buying something, purchasing, whatever it is, that makes a giant difference today. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. There's massive opportunities out there. Because
Absolutely.
Look at when you go buy a taco or a truck or whatever else, and how did those people make you feel? In San Antonio, I don't know what it's like in New York, Chicago, or LA, but I know right now you can go out and make somebody's day, and it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Sure.
I want to get into that when we come back from our break. We're here at the bottom of the hour on the San Antonio Rising Stars Show. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the San Antonio Rising Stars Show. This afternoon we have Erik Darmstetter, CEO of Sales by 5, and this section is brought to you by Documation. What an amazing company. When you boil it down, they just help you become more efficient in your office space. What they've really done is become experts in customer service. There's nothing more frustrating than not having the tools you need to do your job. And for many of us, is the input and output devices for technology. So your copiers, scanners, printers, what have you. Documation has set the bar very high in terms of the service that they provide. I swear they have a car parked in Plant Interscape's parking lot. Every time something goes wrong, and it's not very often, they are there in a flash to make it work for us. They really give you the white glove, red carpet treatment that we've come to know. And they're also getting into managing your IT systems. I don't know for those of you other small business owners out there, but typical small businesses can't afford to have an IT guy on staff. Documation is coming to fulfill that need for us. But give Documation a call. You can reach them at 210-341-4431 or visit them on the web at mation.com.
I just always like to say that they make you meaner, leaner, and stronger. So anyways, I know, and I love Documation. We do business with them out at Toyota Bernie. Same experience. They're just always handling our business, and if a problem, which is rare, pops up, it's handled. Getting back into the life story of Erik Darmstetter, CEO of Sales by 5. Erik, you were talking about emotion and feeling as it relates to adding value and selling and creating what we at Toyota Bernie call the customer experience. The word experience just kind of encompasses what you see, what you feel, what you taste, smell, what all of the senses combined end up impacting you and leaving you with some kind of an experience. We always aim for a good one, but I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that I couldn't agree with you more in terms of adding value to the end customer or consumer, and it really does get interesting when you start tapping into their feelings.
Absolutely. And today, if you're remarkable, people will remark, and that's that experience.
That's great, yeah. And we were saying this off the air, in San Antonio, the small business environment, word of mouth is probably one of the most effective ways to grow your business, to grow your brand, to just continue to network and establish what it is that you're trying to accomplish. You had mentioned to us off the air that you have a passion for small business. So I'd like to get into that now, and I'd like to open up that discussion.
Absolutely. I'm a huge proponent. I've helped a lot of companies get started, helped them grow. Obviously, that's the point of my company, is to help them increase sales no matter what it takes. But I've had 9 companies. That's why I mentioned I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Help start, what, 300?
I've either helped start 300 or helped them grow,
Right.
or helped them with concepts to start. And I've got about 4 or 5 people that I'm helping right now. And it's just, it's fun. It doesn't feel like work in that regard.
Right.
But it's not that hard. I get a lot of people that say, gosh, I hope someday I can get a loan for $100,000 or whatever else it is so I can start a business. I'm like, why do you need $100,000? And like, to start a business. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
The most I ever started a business with was $5,000. And still, sales by 5, 0. The t-shirt business, 0. In fact, I started another division of a t-shirt business based on an idea. And so here's how all this comes together. Here's how simple it can be.
Sure.
I was at Market with Chuck. It's 1991, Desert Shield, right before Desert Storm. 1 week before Desert Storm breaks out in Iraq. And we had the owner of Coach House Gifts, a buyer for Coach House Gifts come by. And she says, do you have anything in case we go to war that our customers would want to buy? And I said, yes, come back in 15 minutes. We had nothing.
Right.
Okay. 15 minutes later, on a notebook piece of paper, which I've still got, and it's framed, is a drawing. Now, I can't draw very well, and my daughter will emphasize that, but I drew an American flag that was kind of wavy with Chuck. We were kind of wording this out, and it says, my heart's in Saudi with the U.S. Armed Forces. She placed an order for $12,000 within 30 minutes.
Wow.
Now, at the time I went to, I had a t-shirt business and I had a boss, okay, so it was kind of an interesting thing. I went to him and I said, do you have any interest in, this going through your company? And he said, no. Like, okay, so Chuck and I immediately put an entity together, and $90,000 later of t-shirts, we had our own marketing company outside of a t-shirt business. So I guess what I'm saying is, it just takes that idea that somebody gives you that, sometimes an opportunity drops in your lap,
right,
and you take advantage of it. I could have easily said, no, we don't have anything.
Sure.
And they walk on to the next booth, do you have anything? And somebody says, yes, can you come back in 15 minutes?
Right.
So that was an opportunity that built a fabulous relationship with Coach House Gifts. It lasted for probably 3 or 4 years. Did we have other ideas? Yes. They all failed. So, but we weren't scared.
Right.
Okay, we had one good one, and a lot of times it takes a few to find that one good one.
Yeah.
And when I say the all other for Coach House, they failed. Those other ideas failed, but we had one massive success.
So I want to ask a question about your business today and how you help small businesses sell more and basically build their brand.
Okay, so I'm going to use an analogy here that freaks some people out, but I think it's the most simple, because I'm after clarity. So we have all this stuff going on, iPhones and email and all this clutter. But I'm going to use the analogy, sales and dating, the same rules apply.
We can all relate to that.
So you're either selling or unselling. You're selling your kids, they're selling you half the time, and you don't know it. And all of a sudden,
they're smart little cookies.
Yep. And all of a sudden, you're buying whatever they're selling. And you're going to McDonald's, and you didn't want to go to McDonald's, and you know McDonald's isn't necessarily the right place that you want to go at that time, but all of a sudden, you're compelled to go through the drive-thru.
There you are in the drive-thru, yeah.
Or Whataburger, or whatever else it is. So my point is to realize how much each day that somebody sells or unsells. So I've got a client right now, I've done a lot of secret shopping for them and found that their agents, I'm not going to reveal who they are, but their agents are not warm, they're not inviting, they're not asking for your name, they're not shaking your hand. There's no human relations in regards to how they do business. So I've got to change that.
Right.
Okay, that's number one for me, is I've got to change the way they interact with people. So that's how simple it is. And it can go to not looking at somebody when you meet them, to earlier when I met you, I tripped over something, so I didn't have eye contact with you, which is against all my rules because I'm shaking your hand, and the worst thing I can do is look over and start talking to somebody else. But luckily, I tripped and it was accident.
Yeah, you said no hard feelings.
But that's how simple it is. So monitoring how, a guy walks up to a girl at a bar, and does he show up and throw up? Most of the time. So how does she feel about that? So it's going back to...
Probably overwhelmed and put off.
Does she even care about her? Where's the care? Where's that feel? Where's that remarkable experience? So if he starts asking her a lot of questions and shows that he cares about her life and cares about her versus it's all about me, baby, I'm hot, I'm great, I'm wonderful.
I think you've sparked a lot of guys' interest with this selling yourself while dating. We have to cut you off while I go to a quick commercial break. You're listening to the life story of Erik Darmstetter here on the San Antonio Rising Star Show. We'll be back in a moment.
Welcome back to the San Antonio Rising Star Show. You're listening to the life story of Erik Darmstetter, CEO of Sales by 5. This section is brought to you by Jose Sina and his great team at Blue Clover. These guys are incredible. They are a brand management. They built our website. They've built the back-end tool, made it easy on us to upload like Erik's information, his picture, his bio. Get on sarisingstars.com. Check out our website. Also get on our Facebook page, SA Rising Stars. Like us on Facebook, and you can see information about who has been on the show, who's going to be on the show, and as well as all kinds of other information on being an entrepreneur and all kinds of great stuff that we put up on the Facebook page. I also want to mention Tanya Samus and Mario Ochoa with Samus and Ochoa. You can get in touch with them at 210-390-4284 or get on their website, samusochoa.com.
Now getting back into Erik's life story, I think he really sparked some interest with us. He related sales to dating, and if there's anything that we want to have a good experience with in our lives, it's going to be dating. So get us back on point with that.
So the analogy comes across, I've used it for about 8 or 9 years, but when I was married I didn't really feel comfortable talking about dating to an audience. So I speak around the United States on the topic of sales, and one of the elements that's there is to break it down and make it simple and provide the clarity to a sales team, to old dogs needing new tricks, okay, or new dogs that have been possibly trained wrong. There's a lot of people out there that have gone through sales training and they're speaking like they have a teleprompter,
Sure.
okay, or they're a call center instead of actually just asking questions.
Hello. Yeah, anyways, we've all seen the call tracks, but...
So the sales and dating analogy comes from just watching people, okay, and listening. And you see a guy walk up to a girl anywhere and start talking to her and start bragging, okay? I did a survey, and then I looked at some other surveys, and my survey that I took this last summer on Facebook matched exactly what some of the latest data that shows that are the problems in sales. So the number one problem for 20 years has been showing up, throwing up, okay, talking too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then they follow with not listening, bragging. So here's the thing. It could be bragging about your product. Oh, this car is so, you know what I mean? In other words, it can be one of your competitors just talking up the other brand so high, but the consumer had already done their research and realized that that is completely incorrect.
Right.
Okay? So they may be pro their product, but the problem is they're bragging about it. So the guy's so pro about himself that he's made so much money. That's a big problem. Women hate it when men start, the dating aspect.
Yeah.
Guys will start talking about how much money they make. Guys will start talking about they have a Ferrari or a Porsche or a BMW or some silly things like that. They don't know the right things to say because there's no benefit for that female to hear that. They want to feel, they want to have an experience. They want to feel cared about. They want to have an experience, and it's positive.
Mm-hmm.
And so the analogy...
And that's two-sided. It's not just me
Sure.
telling you how great I am.
Sure. So what I do is when I go into a company, I use this element to it. You have 10 seconds, okay? It used to be a 30-second elevator pitch. You don't have that much time anymore.
Yeah.
You have about 10 seconds. Seth Godin says 8 words. And that's how much time it takes in dating or meeting a girl. And I don't pick on women at all. I pick on men because I'm smart. in that area.
Yes.
But my point is, you've got 10 seconds to build some intrigue so there's a question asked. So in your business, a small business today, you want to start a business, or you have a current business, or you just want to find a good date, find somebody to go out with and meet them. So a lot of people have trouble meeting people, but they don't have their 10-second pitch down. Okay, and it can change based on the product or service or female or whatever else it is that you're talking to. But having that 10 seconds down, and the whole point of it is that it's got to make you want to ask a question.
So this is not a pickup line.
Absolutely not. And by the way, the surveys on my website, salesby5.com/blog, and we got about 500 posts on our blog over the last few years that all are, the purpose of them is to inspire people. But we started getting a little bit more personal because we realized that personal element has everything to do with sales too. Women unsell men on staying married to them. Men unsell women on staying married to them.
Right.
I've never seen more divorce in my entire life. Well, what is divorce? Is it unselling? Yeah, it is. And a couple can unsell themselves on each other very easily. And then the worst thing is they can be influenced by their friends. And the worst thing a friend can say is, you deserve to be happy. Now, I know I'm going a little personal there, but it all ties together in we're either selling or unselling each other.
Sure.
And so it's simple, but it's not easy.
It's simple, and it also points to the fact that every little thing matters. Every day matters. Everything you say matters. And it all kind of builds up to either build a case for or against whatever it is you're doing. So
the Sales by 5 blog that I'm mentioning has the worst pickup line, so out of and the best.
Okay.
So we did a study, and we pulled, just for fun, we did that part. The whole point of it was we asked women, how can your last date, how did they sell you? And then how did they unsell you? The top, I think it was 5 ways or 6 ways that they sold you or unsold you. And all of that feedback that we got completely matched another survey of 10,000 women on a dating and how a man sold them or unsold them.
Right.
And so it was fascinating to me to see that here were just friends on Facebook taking, or people that I know of somehow taking a survey that completely matched all this other data, which was good.
right.
But it blows me away that there's people out there still doing everything wrong. In fact, there's a very small percentage that do it right.
Sure.
And that's true in sales. I mean, there's very few people that pay attention to how important those questions are and to shut up.
Well, we want to get more into that. We're going to take, again, a short commercial break. You're listening to the life story of Erik Darmstetter, CEO of Sales by 5. You're listening to the San Antonio Rising Star Show on KLUP. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the San Antonio Rising Star Show. You're listening to the life story of Erik Darmstetter, CEO of Sales by 5. This section is brought to you by David Christian, attorney at law. If any of your family or you have any legal defense needs, get in touch with David locally and his team of legal experts. You can call them at 210-224-5010 or get on his website, davidchristianlaw.com.
Now, Erik, your show's been littered with all this great stuff. I'm just trying to write it all down to remember it. But one thing that you mentioned was being dramatically different. How has Sales by 5 become dramatically different?
Well, first of all, you have a 370% greater chance of success and profitability if you have true dramatic difference. That's a Harvard Business Review fact.
How is your company dramatically different?
Okay, so we're the only company in this city that focuses solely on increasing sales. I do not have to sell advertising. I don't have to fix a website. I don't have to. Okay?
Right.
Meaning it's completely based on what is actually needed, and what I've done is create a team of experts that know what unsells, what sells with the greatest success and profitability based on the latest data. So we're constantly studying, about 150 hours per year per person with Jim Collins, Seth Godin, and the list goes on, but we're subjecting ourselves to the best of the best based on what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't think, I know that there's not any other company that does that. Are there graphic design companies and other stuff? Absolutely, but that's not what we do. Our focus is whatever it takes to increase sales for a company or an organization.
So if there's somebody out there operating a business and they just want to take it to the next level, what would be their next steps to doing so with your business, with Sales by 5? Kind of, give us some insight.
So here's an example. I can quickly find out over the phone the type of company, the type of mentality. We work great with what I call the self-diagnosed ADHD entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Okay, we work great with them. And do we work great with the micromanager? Not really. And
Right.
we're not afraid to say, I'm sorry. We've actually fired 8 clients for being rude.
Wow.
They get 3 strikes and they're out. And by the way, it really hurt a few years ago when everything went south to fire somebody for being rude when that was going to be our biggest client in 2009. But I have a handful of rules. I repeat them often, and if I don't stick by them, then I'm a weak individual, and I'm not going to allow anybody to be rude to me or my staff.
Yeah.
So, how are we different? We don't. One of the things we pay attention to, and we've kind of coined the phrase salt and pepper, making sure that you don't sell salt and pepper. So, if it was Bernie of Toyota, you probably wouldn't sell the fact that you can drive this car for 300 miles on a tank, or it's got great tires. Okay,
It's got cruise control, guys. Come on out. Cruise control.
So that's an excellent point. So a restaurant doesn't sell and can't advertise free salt and pepper on Tuesday nights, because you can have as much salt and pepper, you can use as many forks, as many napkins as you want, and you're not going to be charged for them. That's what it takes to play in the restaurant business. Okay, so a lot of people are out selling salt and pepper. And it's scary. And when you really look at it, mentioning a warranty unless it's dramatically different, mentioning service unless it's true dramatic difference. TMI Episcopal School is one of my clients, and when I started working with them, they were selling small classrooms. Well, you're a private school, and it's not cheap.
Right.
It better be a small classroom. So we modified all their messages, okay, in what they were saying, down to the simplest stuff, so that somebody could walk away, and just like in that 10-second pitch, somebody could walk away and completely have clarity on what benefit you offer. So those words, how many words you say, is scary, because what is somebody going to actually remember about what you said? And dating, salt and pepper, a lot of people
Yeah.
start selling themselves, and it's what somebody else has got.
Right.
Okay, there's no dramatic difference. And they start selling themselves, but does that person even want to be sold on them? So out of 10 people, 10 dates a woman has, there's only 3 that she actually likes the guy. That's a statistic. Okay, that's data. So she's actually going out on 10 dates, but only 3 of them she actually likes the person she goes out with. So there's a lot of action that's happening in regards to sales out there, but what actually sticks, what actually people remember, what's truly remarkable, what's actual dramatic difference.
Yeah, value adding, absolutely interesting. Well, before we run out of time, we always like to ask our rising stars, our newest rising star, what is your overall advice for success? What is your overall perspective on how to get to where it is that you want to get to?
So back to the hedgehog that Jim Collins I mentioned. So best app, passion, and profit. I'm real big on the passion, and to understand, my company actually teaches a team building element that's called strengths. And so to understand what your strengths are, those are the things that the time flies, you're the most in control, and to understand a weakness is you're bored, unfulfilled, and drained in doing them. So if you get into a business and you've got that passion, you don't have to be a lawyer, you don't have to be a CPA, you can hire those. Best lesson I ever learned in accounting in college is my teacher said you can hire a CPA, because guess what? In a business you can. So a CPA came and took my exam because I could hire one. I had a Church's Fried Chicken CPA come in and take my exam. But that's real life, and that's where I'm going is don't try to be everything. You don't. You can hire people that can be, and they ought to be great.
That's a great point. Well, we've really enjoyed your story. You're such an interesting guy. You've done all kinds of different things. Just want to encourage everyone to check them out, Sales by 5, salesby5.com. You can call locally 210-403-3916 for a business assessment. If you're looking to increase your sales, bottom line, get in touch with Erik Darmstetter and his team. He is the Chief Energy Officer for Sales by 5. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
I loved it. I love your energy. Thank you.
Excellent.